Hi, Rionach.
Hi, Kate.
Hello. So, I was wondering if you would share with us your reasons for joining Story School. Why did you join? What were you looking for?
Yeah, lovely question. And yeah, it's lovely to be having this chat with you. I think what I was looking for was a way to combine, different ways of writing that I'd come across before. And in my career before I started my business, I always did lots of report writing and funding bid writing and kind of industry standard types of writing. And at the same time, I'd also spent over a decade doing creative writing and poetry. And when I launched my business, I was also looking at what is the industry standard for writing and for emails and stuff like that. But it didn't, it wasn't really coming alive. So Story School had this wonderful invitation to kind of bring more soulful language into how we're showing up in business. And I thought, I want some of that. That really fits with me and with my experience. So it just was a way to bring those two together and really communicate with people in a way that connect and was
Mm,
quite authentic and soul based.
yes, I love that. And it's really interesting because you're someone who is already wonderful at communicating, and like you say, both in that poetic way and in the sort of, in corporate world, industry standard writing way.
Yeah.
Talk more about how that was impacting your ability to show up authentically in this in the new realm of self-employment, but also this exciting new paradigm that we're living.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that I love to do is share poetry and speak poetry, and when I know when I communicate like that, whether it's written or spoken, people really connect with it, and it kind of drops them into and drops us into this really deep connection space. Um, and then kind of when I would go into okay, and here's me talking about my thing, it didn't quite have the same feelings to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, and I was kind of just looking at what are other people doing. Well, this is what they do, and it's a bit more factual. And I was like, well, I didn't know that there was another way. So is actually bringing those together and being able to communicate my message through story, as well as through the poems, was something that really appealed to me, because I just think for me, visibility is all about connection and creating connection. And when we can connect that connection and join the dots, it's like, oh, I could use this way of creative writing to communicate my message. I didn't know how to join the dots. So it was beautiful that you showed me how to do that. It's so
Oh,
valuable.
I love that. I love that. Would you say that that's the biggest outcome that you received from Story School, or what would you say is the biggest outcome or transformation that you
Yeah, well, the biggest outcome, and it took a while to kind of filter through for me, but I loved it. But I've started sharing my personal stories recently in a way where I'm also talking about this is an experience that I had, and this is why it's important for what I'm talking about. So I've talked about
mm,
personal stories that I'm sharing about my own experiences of becoming visible or feeling invisible. And I kind of walk through the beats of that story of this is what happened, this is how I felt, then this is what happened. And so, and I'm finding this way of communicating that the response I'm getting is phenomenal. I'm getting, over 100 likes and loads of comments when I share these posts on social media, and it's really connecting. And what people are saying is those words really touched my heart.
mm.
They really connected with me, and they're also this is what I needed to hear right now. And I'm kind of going, I've been sharing this stuff, but not in a story way, and it hasn't been landing in the same way. So I feel like, for me, the biggest thing is this is how I need to communicate. So this is my message in how I'm communicating as well. It's a bit like it's kind of coming together, and I just feel like, wow, I found my thing.
Oh,
So it's huge.
amazing.
Just, yeah.
Wow. How does that feel now to
I,
be able to do that?
I just feel so fulfilled and on purpose, and feeling like, oh, I can really, walk my talk and talk my walk.
Yeah.
And in a way that demonstrates it. Another feedback I've been getting is people are getting shifts about what I'm talking about just from reading those stories. They're getting the insight. So it feels like, and I've always knew this was possible, but I just didn't know how to do it. So I was like, what if, our marketing and our visibility stuff could create the same kind of transformation that our workshops and our coaches does, and they're like, wow, this is it. So I'm totally, I'm like, yeah. So it's huge for me. It just feels like it's integrating everything so much. So I'm just kind of going, yeah, evangelical.
Oh wow, I can feel that.
Yeah.
The power of that, and yes, that is exactly what I believe. That I think lots of people make a cut in their thinking between this is my work and it's really deep and transformational, and then oh my goodness, now I have to go market it.
Yes.
And that means I have to learn and do all these other things that don't come naturally. And
yes.
No, it's the same source from which the work comes can also source the words that
yes.
are the message that draw people to it.
Absolutely. So I just feel it's so integrated, and I love it. And also, what I really love as well, that what I'm talking about when I'm sharing those stories, like my own personal process, is something that I do all the time. I do that deep transformational work, with myself, and with others, that I'll, be sharing client stories in the same way. But I do it all the time. So I'm like, wow, I could be sharing about this every week forever, because I'm always, leaning into these things. So it also feels very, integrated in integrity, authentic and real. And because it's real, people feel that.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it up. Yeah.
Exactly. You're quite literally talking your walk.
Yeah.
And that content is never going to run dry.
Yes.
So there'll never be that on my, blank page. What do I write? Getting up in the head, getting stuck, trying to write something powerful. It just won't happen.
Yes, exactly. And it's just, what are the kind of, things that are important for people to know in my topic area? What are my recent experiences about that and stories I can tell? Okay, here's my, list of all the things I can talk about.
Yeah, and here you go. And there'll be people who read it and become clients, and there'll be people who read it and that's enough for them. They'll get the transformation.
Yes. Yes. And there was one of these shares that I sent out as a story, recently, I sent it as an email after it had been on social media. And it went out to my list, and somebody who just recently signed up for my list and had just recently done a sales call with, and she was in the decision-making process. And she was the first person to respond to that email saying, this is why I need to work with you. So, and it was fantastic, for her, because I was able to talk, through the beats of how I work in the email, just through telling my story. And it was also very reassuring for me, because if she's up for that, then she will love what I do. So it's like, it proves that we're a good fit for each other.
Yes, exactly. It's a really, really great way to make sure that you are attracting clients who are actually ready for your real work.
Yes.
And your real work is amazing. Rionach heals the witch wound, the sister wound, and really helps women with their visibility and their voice. So it makes me happy that you can come on StorySchool, means that your work is now more out there and more people can benefit from that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, and I think I love that, I feel like we're both here to really serve, these kind of magical visionaries and game changers to get out there and to do the hard work of really stepping into visibility in a way that's authentic. So I'm so pleased to be in this mission together with you.
Me too. What would you say on that note? What would you say to someone who is considering StorySchool and maybe they, like you, are already good at communicating? Maybe they do maybe they write poems or they do spoken word and they feel quite comfortable in that aspect of communication.
Yeah, well, I'd say that this is learning how to apply that you know, to the forms of business communication. So they aren't separate. Like for me, they were, you know, kind of two different things. I didn't know how to join the dots. And it's really powerful to understand how to apply that in a way that's really effective and that connects with your audience, so that because it is really about that connection between you and them. Because you might, you know, write beautiful poems and they might, you know, connect with some people. But when you're writing this kind of communication for your business, you're always talking to the people who need your transformation, and bringing through, you know, your vision for that transformation, your experience, you know, with it as well. So it's just really joining the dots in a way that I haven't seen anyone else teaching. You know, there's lots of people teaching marketing, but I've not seen anyone else teaching this as well. And it's kind of simple, but it's not obvious. So I think it's really important that we learn how to communicate in this way, and create connection. And I want that for the responses that I'm getting to my posts of, you know, dozens and dozens of people responding to saying how much it touched them and moved them. I want that for everybody. I mean, how would it be, you know, if the communications that we put out, you know, had that kind of deep connection with people? I mean, what a world that would be, rather than people kind of feeling, oh, we're being sold to. Even if there's a call to action in it, people are kind of going, wow, that really affected me. You know, whether they, you know, say yes or no, or it just enriches our lives. And I just feel like we need to be having it. It opens up conversations about the real experiences that we need to be having, rather than this, oh, I'm all happy and shiny all the time on social media. You know, we need this. Our world needs this. So yeah, I would say. And, you know, you teach it in a way that's really simple, and also really easy to follow as well. So that was great. You know, you break it down.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. What a wonderful message. I'm going to try and receive all of that for myself as well.
Yes.
And wherever on the World Wide Web you're watching this, please do look either below or to the side somewhere, because there will be a link to Rionach's story, and you can read her beautiful evocative words and find out more about what she does as well. And if the way that she's talked about StorySchool has had you think, oh, I could do with some of that, then please do consider coming and joining me on StorySchool to help you become a beacon that attracts your soul clients, the people that you are here for.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Rionach.
Thanks, Kate. Great to chat to you.